What should you do if your rental property catches on fire? Ugh. That's today's video. Let's dive in. Hi there, I'm Clayton Morris. I'm the founder of Morris Invest. And this is a tricky question that no one wants to have to deal with if you're a real estate investor. It's kind of like the ultimate problem child of real estate investors. That and maybe an eviction of a tenant. But what happens if your rental property catches fire? What do you do about it? Well, step one, I just want to say this: don't panic. Making sure that everyone is taken care of and is happy and healthy and protected, your tenants are able to find safe shelter in the wake of a fire, that is the most important thing. Now, if everyone is accounted for and happy and healthy, thankfully, then we have to move on to the next stage, which is trying to find out what exactly happened. Now, let me back up a little bit, because you are going to carry insurance on your rental property and structural replacement insurance on your rental property. So let's say you're smart and you buy a property that's below market value. So you buy it for $40,000, but you have insurance on it for $50,000 or $55,000, structural replacement insurance. Okay, if unfortunately the property burns down, it's kind of a pain in the butt, of course, but your insurance company, after they assess it, they're going to work with the fire department, they're going to get a report, they're going to find out what happened, and of course they're going to issue you a check for $50,000, $55,000. And typically this can happen very quickly. Insurance companies are pretty good about this, and they will move pretty quickly. I know a number of people who've had rental property burn damage or actually had a structure burn down, and the insurance companies are usually pretty good about moving quickly to give restitution for that property. You've got insurance on the property, and that's great. But remember, at the beginning, you want to have great photos. You want to know what's done to the property. So, for instance, if you're doing a rehab on the property yourself and you've hired contractors and you have a laundry list of the things that they're going to do on the property and you have receipts for how much you spent to rehab the property, let's say you spent $40,000 to renovate this house, you should probably hang on to those receipts. You're likely going to have photos of the new furnace and the new water heater and all of those things put into the property. Those things are going to be very important because those things are all going to be burned up in a fire. And you'd like to be able to show the insurance adjuster that, hey, I spent $40,000 to renovate this house. Here are the receipts. Here's the scope of work from the contractor. Here are photos of what we put into the property. And this is how great it looked before the tenant moved into the property. There you go. You covered yourself. That way the insurance adjuster can see the photos. You have insurance on the property and you're good to go. Now, in the aftermath of the fire department, of course, is going to go through and look at the cause of the accident. And if it is the tenant's fault, i.e. they left toast burning in the toaster and it burned a part of the kitchen and the rest of the house is okay, well, they're then liable. They should have renter's insurance, and if it burned up their belongings and their couch and their television, well, that's not your fault as the landlord, right? But it is your responsibility to fix the property. You own it, after all. So what your insurance company will likely do is reach out to the tenant's insurance company and say, look, the fire report came back and this woman left a curling iron sitting on the bed or left toast burning in the toaster. That's their fault. And then their insurance company will write a check and they'll have to remedy that. And then ultimately you'll get a check from the tenant's insurance company. And then you've got to replace the kitchen cabinets where everything burned up. Now, if the property burned down and it's the tenant's fault, that same process will unfold. The fire department and their investigators will look into this. They will issue their report. Be sure to get that person's phone number at the fire department, because you're going to be having a lot of contact with that person over the next few weeks in the wake of a fire. You're going to then work with that tenant's insurance company to make sure that they get restitution over to you, and you can either rebuild that property or, start fresh, build a brand new property on a different piece of land. It's totally up to you, but now you're starting with really a clean slate, and you're going to have to get in there. Make sure that you also take into account the fact that the haul away of the debris is going to need to be taken into account as well. So a dumpster, the haul away, which can be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, depending on the size of the house, to get cleaned up and all that burnt lumber out of there and taken out, and then to build the new property in the same spot. So a lot of things to consider, but you want to make sure that you're protected along the way. So taking photos, having a good assessment of what's in the property, asking for your tenants to make sure that they have renter's insurance, because you know what, if they burn the place down, you're not going to foot the bill for their couch or their TV. They've got to have renter's insurance. It's their responsibility. I know when I was renting years ago, it was something that I made sure that I did to protect myself. If I got robbed or the house had water damage or there was flooding, yeah, the structure would be protected for the landlord, but me as the renter, I need to get renter's insurance to protect my belongings. I'm just living here temporarily. I need to protect myself. So all of these things to consider, but at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be terribly scary. It is something that if you've got a portfolio of 30 properties, if it happens to you, it's part of the process. You've got to pick up the pieces and move on. And as long as you have certain protections in place, it doesn't have to be scary. Protect yourself though. Make sure you have the proper insurance. Make sure you get the phone numbers of the fire individual at the fire department you're working with. And make sure you understand that your tenant hopefully has renter's insurance on that property in case something were to happen. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, and if this has ever happened to you, God forbid, let me know in the comments thread below. And please subscribe to the channel. We love having you subscribe because we provide so many different videos on real estate investing here on the channel. Just click on the big subscribe button. And we'll see you back here on the next video, everyone. Go out there, take action, and become a real estate investor.